The views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization. Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, before anything, let me wish each and every one of you a happy and healthy Diwali. I hope you've had a great festive season. Now, speaking of Diwali, it's a time for fun and entertainment. And fun and entertainment is synonymous in Maharashtra with tamasha, a folk dance which is very popular in Maharashtra, and a Persian word is used to explain fun and entertainment as tamasha. What we are seeing in my home state of Maharashtra, my friends, is a political tamasha. That's right, it is polytainment, as I call it. Politics with entertainment. And actually, it is the theatre of the absurd, which in a way would be almost farcical if it was not so disgustingly immoral. That's right, my friends. I, in a way, say this today with sadness, because what we are seeing in Maharashtra is really the theatre of the absurd. Allegations are flying thick and fast, from drugs to underworld links, from extortion rackets to Benami transactions. It's open season in Maharashtra's tryst with crime and politics. A Narcotics Control Bureau officer who is investigating one of Hindi cinema's biggest star's son is also now himself being probed for alleged fraud and extortion. A former Mumbai police commissioner, the top job, is untraceable. He is reportedly missing and a non-bailable warrant has been issued for him. The former Home Minister has just been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate for alleged money laundering and vasuli or extortion, which he is charged for. He was evading ED summons for months. Then you've got the Deputy Chief Minister. His alleged Benami transactions are being investigated by the Income Tax Department, and they run, we are told, into several thousand crores. And you've also got the former Chief Minister and his wife being dragged into this hit and run vendetta politics. They too are being accused of having links with people who have been jailbirds. I mean, a bizarre game, my friends, of smear and shame is playing out in Maharashtra, where the lines between crime, police and politics are totally blurred. I mean, look at the curious case of Samir Wankhede, the Indian Revenue Service officer who last year was deputed as Deputy Director in the Narcotics Control Bureau in charge of Mumbai. For the last 12 months, Mr. Wankhede has earned a reputation that he takes on the rich and famous. Ever since the NCB intervened last year in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, arrested Riya Chakraborty, arrested her brother in a narcotics case, suddenly Mr. Wankhede has become, from an anonymous IRS officer, a high-profile one. His critics are now accusing him of being part of a well-oiled extortion racket targeting Bollywood. Others are crediting him with putting the rule of law above VVIP status. But look at what has happened just in the last month. Because public opinion is getting polarized over an IRS officer's alleged crusade against drugs. And who is taking him on? A minister, a sitting minister, Nawab Malik, in the Maharashtra government from the NCP, is launching every day some new investigation, almost like a parallel investigation, into Samir Wankhede, who is investigating Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan. I mean, look at the bizarre nature of the way this is unfolding. Because Mr. Malik claims that he has evidence to show that Wankhede faked his caste certificate to get admission into the IRS through the SC/ST quota. All of this is put on Twitter first, a press conference, not before any court of law. Now, what adds to this is Mr. Wankhede now going to the SC/ST commission and saying he's being harassed because he is a Dalit. The fear that I have and the fear that many have is that what you are doing is pitting in a way a Muslim minister. Nawab Malik is one of the few Muslim ministers left in Maharashtra in what is now becoming post 1992 a majoritarian polity. So you have Nawab Malik on one side, who himself is now being accused of underworld links, and you have Samir Wankhede, a Dalit who is being accused of extortion rackets. It creates, to my mind, a very troubling caste communal inferno. And my bigger worry in all of this is that the real questions are not being asked at all in this entire war of words that's going on. Let me ask those questions therefore today on the straight bat, as straight as ever. Should an agency like the Narcotics Control Bureau, which is meant to handle international and interstate drug network connections, be now looking at a few grams of ganja that you may have found on a cruise ship? Why must these investigations be carried out in the full media glare with a dubious list of witnesses, many of whom are reportedly close to the ruling BJP, are close to the BJP, and where the urge to appear before a TV camera seems to overwhelm the need for a rigorous probe? Where does an IRS officer get the funds to lead by what is, by all accounts, an opulent lifestyle? Why should the minister also be carrying out a parallel investigation into a officer when he could easily submit all these documents before a court of law? Is it because the minister's son-in-law was arrested by this same officer in January this year? Nawab Malik's son-in-law was arrested in a drug case. So is this a personal crusade of Nawab Malik? And where does that leave his constitutional position? And why is, amidst all this muck that's flying around, whatever happened to the 3,000 kg heroin haul at the Adani operated Mundra port? Why did that story get so easily buried while a star son's alleged tryst with the world of drugs, with a few grams of drugs, let's say, is a national obsession? My sense is that when due process is being subverted, and it is repeatedly subverted and routinely subverted in this country, then the lines between fact and fiction get easily blurred. Take the case of Parambir Singh, even more astonishing in a way. An IPS officer who was holding the biggest and the most prized post in Maharashtra, the Mumbai Police Commissioner. He was seen as the government's chosen one. Suddenly there is the case that takes place in the Antilla bomb scare case, where a Scorpio car is found in the month of February with gelatine sticks, allegedly explosive laden car, and the police or the crime police nexus comes to the fore. Parambir Singh is removed as police commissioner. What does he do? He attacks the Home Minister Anil Deshmukh and says that Deshmukh was involved in extortion rackets, wanting 100 crores a month from his officers. All of this, to my mind, again suggests just how deeply entrenched the crime police politician nexus in Mumbai is. Because having made those allegations, having ensured in a way that Deshmukh also had to go, what does Parambir Singh do? Disappears. Disappears. Can you imagine that someone who's wanted by the Mumbai Crime Branch and the National Investigation Agency, so state and center, suddenly disappears? In Mumbai, I am told, somebody tells me he's gone to Hungary. Another person says, नहीं वो Belgium चला गया, Russia चला गया, या Nepal से चला गया. I mean, look at the absurdity of what is happening at the moment. It is absolutely scandalous that a top cop could have escaped so easily if it is true that he has indeed left the country. Truth is, my friends, in a politically surcharged atmosphere at the moment, with several ministers and legislators being investigated by either the ED or the IT for various acts of corruption, Mumbai's worst kept secrets are coming out. And that worst kept secret is quite simply this: the city of gold coexists with a metropolis of grime, where law enforcement agencies are thoroughly compromised by the high stakes involved. And the only people who seem to get away at the moment in Maharashtra or Mumbai are those who switch sides. It's very interesting that several of the NCP legislators who are being investigated by the enforcement agencies switched to the BJP, and now all is well. In fact, one Congress MLA, former Congress MLA who switched to the BJP, Harshvardhan Patil, was very open when he said, "I now sleep soundly." Almost as if to say that if you are in the ruling party alliance and you have all these skeletons in your cupboard, they will only come out if you are not with the BJP. All of this, to my mind, as I said, reflects this theatre of the absurd, or tamasha as I call it. But what is also true, my friends, is that chickens have come home to roost. I remember covering the 1993 Mumbai blast, and then the former Chief Minister, or the then Chief Minister of Maharashtra, telling me, Sudhakar Naik was his name, and Sudhakar Rao told me, he said, "Rajdeep, this city, Mumbai today, is taken over by the criminal, real estate, the builder, politician nexus, and there are people in my own secretariat possibly who know about it but will not tell me." This was 1993. If you remember, at that time, a Vora report was brought out by the former Home Secretary where he underlined this deep nexus between crime, politicians, and indeed government officers. This was the time of the role of the underworld, Dawood Ibrahim, all of whom were linked to the 93 blasts. That Vora report is of 1993. We are now in 2021. 28 years have gone, and yet the report has not been fully made public. Why? Because if it is, it will be an inconvenient truth that involves, dare I say, all or certainly several of our netas cutting across party lines. That is the harsh reality of Mumbai. As a postscript, let me tell you, in Mumbai's film world, there is speculation now that Samir Wankhede wants a biopic made around his life. If an IRS officer believes that he is now such a larger than life character that a film has to be made on him, what does one say? But why blame Mr. Wankhede? 20 years ago, Mumbai's encounter cops had also acquired instant fame, and they too were put up on celluloid in films like Ab Tak Chappan. Some of these police officers have since then gone in and out of jail. Classic song from that film company. The words were, "Ganda hai, par dhanda hai." Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. Thanks for watching. Once again, wishing you a very happy Diwali and festive season. Jai Hind, Namaskar.